Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. All right, so morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets. We're going to go through the live order flow analysis using Bookmap, understand exactly what's going on in the auction process here, looking at the market structure, volume, transactions, and the order flow, or the limit buy and sell orders. It is the context between these three elements that we want to understand. Thus, we can understand the behavior of others and look to where price might go next. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in here and see what's going on in the markets here. I have some trading activity to go through with you guys from a little bit earlier, and I'll run you through that process. This is something new that we're doing in here. We took some live trades on Friday and went through we wanted to demo some trade management fundamentals or theories or ideas, because we're going through setups in here and criteria for our setups, understanding and looking for something that is higher probability or more likely to play out. And then there's a whole nother side to trading though, and that is trade management. This is where the rubber really meets the road, because we can look at and study and backtest ideas and different setups. However, the trade management around those setups is what makes it or breaks it. Okay? This is where some people, maybe they just lose total control. They had a winning setup and they still had a loser out of it, and then that that leads to confusion or whatever it might be. And then there's the trader psychology. There's the money management. There's all sorts of things that are entangled with that, and we don't. We want to deal with that in a very logical and systematic way, part of the process. And we're going to use order flow to understand that. All right, so let's see here. Let me get to some of the questions, if there are any, to begin with here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rob, Stephen, slow down. Tapesh, welcome. All right, so, that was slow down, or Tapesh was on Friday. Okay. Let's see here, and over in YouTube, how's everybody? Okay. Is volume different, differential or relative? Okay, so the volume here that you see in Bookmap, it's either a green dot or a red dot, and this is my setting. Now I'll just right click on here and we'll go to volume dot settings, or you can also go up to the studies configuration up here and then look at your volume dots in here. Okay, now this is the way I have it set up. I have it as 3D bubbles and volume delta, buy minus sell. So this is the delta. All right, total volume is something different. Let's click on that. See these pie displays in here? This is buying and selling. And then it's differentiated. There's actually a delta in here as well. No question about it. Let's just zoom in and I'll show you a little bit better. Yeah, let's actually do a little filtering here. You can see there's buyers and sellers in here, but look at the buyers and sellers up here. There's more buyers, just a little bit more than sellers here. There's more buyers here than sellers, right? This one's about equal, etc. So you can read the total volume in here as well. And this is the way we had it for years, in fact. And then one trader came to us and said he'd really like to see the delta. It made more sense. And then we really embraced it, and we haven't turned back since, basically. The clarity in the delta is usually excellent, so we stick with it. All right. And now in terms of the settings that I use, I typically just use the default. I just click on restore here. It uses smart clustering, which is combination of time and volume. And then there's a slider in here. It's right in the middle right now, as you can see. A lot of times I'll turn it down. I want to look at a little bit more volume in here, and instead of have it clustered. That's it. There are other ways to filter the volume in here as well. I can show you a video where to go on that if you like. So, but anyway, we'll stick with this right now. Now, also we have it in the subchart here. Okay, the subchart. This is also showing delta here. Okay, let's go back here and we'll click on the volume dots, and then you see how you can inherit the same settings, or at least the clustering settings, to the bars, or apply to bars. Okay, so let's actually click on volume bars here, and I've got it set up the same way. I have solid colors, and then I have buy minus sell. It's either going to be a red bar or a green bar, and that's it. And I also have some clustering on it as well. All right, so now what this allows me to do, I really like this output here, because I can see in this move to the upside, it's a strong move by the buyers, and there's strong, consistent buy volume behind it. This is what I want to understand, right? I know that the buyers are moving it here. And now we might get a counter and sellers come in and move it with as much consistency and strength here as well. Okay, but I'm not seeing it right now. Okay, so in fact, this is where we can start to determine, well, if we don't see sellers coming in here, now we do, okay? If we don't see the sellers coming in here though, and we see maybe selling exhaust here, and we start to see buyers come in on the other side, we are looking for them to auction back up here. All right, so this is part of the process in understanding the strength in these moves, and then looking at the delta bars as well. Very, very helpful. Okay, we want to see like what is this relative volume in here in a different format here. It's not on the price action. It is separate. Okay, and this gives the best of both worlds. So here come our buyers, for example. Right, so actually I'm looking for these buyers to come right back up to this liquidity here at 54 and maybe at 55 and a half, 54 and a half, 55 and a half. All right, and yeah, anyway, we'll be taking some positions and things, looking for these opportunities. So that's going to be part of the new process in here that we're going through with our presentation, right? Because we're going to go through the trade management. In fact, we may even play some games in here, and just I was thinking about this and see what you guys think of just saying, are we a buyer or are we a seller? Thumbs up, thumbs down, do a poll, and then we will manage it accordingly. Okay, we won't even look for a setup. We'll just to cover trade management, right? Once we jump in, we have to manage it. All right. So anyway, let's take a look here. That should have answered your question, Paul. Theta, Vega, Delta. You're talking more about is options. Delta is just buy. It's one versus minus the other. Okay. All right. Let's see. Any other questions over in Discord? Let's see. Nope, nothing. Okay. Okay, all right, so let's just zoom out a little bit, and since it's Monday, let's zoom out a whole lot, and we'll look at some bar data as well, some candlesticks on higher time frames in here. Okay, so that's quite a bit of selling that came in at the cash open, as you guys can see here, and drove price down. We had kind of a tricky day on Friday, and we'll go over it Thursday and Friday. And right now we're right in the middle here. So let's just take a look at our higher time frame daily over here on the left and what's going on. In the middle here we have our hourly and our 15-minute on the right. All right, so okay, so yeah, we saw a lot of selling come in last week, especially that on Thursday. This is that heavy selling here, gapped up, and it sliced right through. This was interesting, very curious to me. On Thursday, this was very curious, and I wanted to mention this today because this was odd. It blazed right through the gap here, the gap fill down here, and no problem, just went right through it. And then we had non-farm, and where did we come? We came right back up into that gap area and auctioned back in here. Okay, that makes sense to me. At first, it didn't make sense to me. Like, what is going on in here? Like, shouldn't we be seeing some sort of bounce in here at the gap fill? And not really. It just kept going heavily to the downside here. It's interesting though, guys, to understand that the market comes back and re-auctions back here at that gap fill area on the way back. Anyway, yeah, actually you can see it clearer here on the 15-minute chart. It came right back into it here. Here's the day where it gapped up, and then it blazed right through it on that 15-minute, and this is exactly where it came back to and tested here. Okay, I was a little surprised by that, but that kind of fits into the psychology of a gap, though. That it needs to kind of auction back here and understand, the buyers and sellers up at this area here. Okay, and we kind of got our answer in here. Is it kind of Friday? It came on back into this area here. We talked about this on Friday, how a lot of times if we do not see this continuation in here, we get these days where it just keeps trickling up in here, and a lot of times it'll come back up into where it dropped from the previous day. We didn't get that far. We only got up to the gap, which is really pretty interesting to me. And then we've been chopping around in here since. So let's see here. Rob, what kind of day do we have today? Okay, we were talking about inside days, outside days last week as higher probability trades and looking for opportunities for those outside days. So today is an inside day, exactly. So here's previous day's action here. Let me get my pen on this candle here, right? And then here's today's action. It is within that candle, right? So we are contained within it. So it's an inside day. Now, on an inside day, just understand the concept here. You don't have to understand the daily. The concept is that it's still chopping around within a range. We're looking for if we're looking for this previous day's action in here, if we're going to leave it behind, we need to look at a lot of volume to lift it away from those areas. Okay, or pull it away from those areas. And if we don't get that, we're looking at just kind of back and forth in here, that the market is doesn't really have a direction for the bigger or higher time frame, right? So and that's exactly the answer that we are getting right now. You can see it here on the daily. Now I'm kind of surprised, I mean, we came back up pretty far here, and we're chopping around near the high of Friday. Okay, so anyway, kind of interesting to see that. If we're going to come back up into this 52, 68 or 70 level, and we start to see a lot of volume pick up in here, then we will start to look for this to turn into at least test the outside of that range. Okay, now it may test and fail and come back in. but these are the things we're going to be looking for, right? And you can see that the action here on the 15-minute chart. You can even see the triangle here, and which means that here's our gap up, and it immediately sold off, filled the gap, and we're just kind of like right in the middle here. Okay, so really not seeing much activity here right now. All right, we're just caught in the middle, and we do see wicks, some buying wicks in here. Let's see if we let's just zoom in a little bit more. Let's see here, do that. Get less bars. Okay. All right, so yeah, here we see a little bit of buying, and then now it's back to the being a doji. Yeah, so now it's tested up here on this one. It broke it, but it failed, and it came back into this little period in here. So it's still inside this previous period. Now, this is different here. Now we're outside it. Okay, now this is our second test up here. So now let's look at the order flow, because I would look for the test of this high here, or maybe this swing high up here at 52.60. So let's take a look now. Okay, and let's look at Bookmap. Well, here now we have a much better understanding what's going on in here. We have our high volume node right in the middle here. We're just testing the ranges in here. Now we are seeing some buyers here. Okay, what does the order book look like? Okay, well, they're starting to bid up underneath. All right, looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe we can come up into this kind of 60 level that we're looking at here on our candlestick. Okay, 60 here, maybe we can come up to 64 or 65, and that would be up in here in this area, right? So I don't see it yet, but we do see some buying coming in. Now all it has done is peaked its head above the this 57 level. Okay, that's it. Okay, so it looks like it might be enough to tear away from this high volume node here at 54. But if this fails, and we know it's a stop run, we can see the stops here. Okay, if it fails, we're coming right back down into 54, and maybe the other side of the range here around 51 or 50. All right, so here we go again. Another retest, pretty strong volume. And you can see this, see how the delta just completely changed there? Okay, so we're finding buyers and sellers up here kind of battling. All right, now we're seeing a distinction and a winner here. Okay, so we're back up to here at 58. Still seeing buying. Okay, so are we going to get that move up into our 60 level here? Here's our context. We have the 100. This one larger player just came in with limit sell orders here at 58. And he's taken on. All right. So yeah, looking for that breakout up into 60 here. Okay, and now is this something that is actionable? Not in my book. Right, I do not see a lot of liquidity underneath here. We're looking for that move up into 60, but just not worth it. There's our move. Okay, and big stop run there, guys. Big run. Okay, up into 62. Nice little move there. But again, like, do we really want to put some risk on this in here? Where are we going to put our stops? Where's our take profit? We just get out at 60. It's not really worth it. Okay, now if you do scalp for, and I'm trying to stay away from scalping just a few points here and there. Maybe this is something that you guys would like to see more of, and we can do that, no problem. But I'm trying to stick to kind of a bigger picture plan, yeah, let me know your thoughts. What you think about that. Like, are you looking for? Would you like me to continue on with the smaller scalps in here, or look at like a higher time frame setup? Okay, because if we look for our higher time frame setups, like it's just going to take a lot longer. We won't have too many of those unfold. Anyway, would love to get your feedback on that. Oh, thanks, guys. Yep, demo trader, Stephen, and also Dan about the options with Doug and options millionaire. Yep, great stuff. Yeah, that's where if you want to learn about that, those are the places to go. All right. All right, guys. Well, anyway, let's see what kind of unfolds in here. I'm kind of interested. This is, you can see it. This is just at the high of the day here, where we sold off, immediately in the cash session. That's where it looks like we want to go from the buy side here, and retest back up into here to about the 63 level here. Now this is where it dropped from, and it dropped from heavily, right? So this is what we're looking for, is a retest back up into here. Okay, and if it can get up into here, then we're talking about some of the swings up in here. We said about 64, 65. Actually looks like even better, 66, 66 and a half up here. All right. Well, I wanted to go over this little bit of trade management over here, and I want to talk. This was going to lead into kind of what I wanted to talk about today, the discussion on accumulation and distribution, and then understanding the order flow within that to give us insight. Okay, I mean, this is what a reversal pattern looks like, or a continuation pattern as well. Okay, but it's really important to understand that. Now, when I was trading pre-market here, okay, I saw this big move to the downside. Well, I wasn't there, but I see this big move to the downside, and this is where it initiated here. It broke the structure here. Okay, it broke this structure here, and then it really picked up to the downside. Okay, that's a pretty big move, and pretty quick move as well. High liquidity down here, blazed right through it, down to 37 or so, and that was the low. And then we saw this a lot of buying starting to come in, and what we want to look at is the transactions and order flow within this area in here. Now, I was looking for this actually as a buy in here, same as what we're kind of looking at right now as a buy, but this is just too high for me, and this is just too much risk. I was not willing to take it, even though I was looking for a move into this liquidity here, and we didn't get it, or we did get it, but I missed it. Now we came up into here where that heavy selling came in. All right, so up here I actually took a few positions. All right, now I want to cover this in here because this was kind of a bit lower time frame, and I wasn't looking for too much of a move here. There's a lot of interesting things to go through in this trade management here. All right, so now I started to see a bit of we traded into this liquidity here, 54, came up into here, and then I started to see some selling coming in. Okay, so I'm willing to take my first position here. Right now, if I get my selling coming back in, here's what I did, guys. This is going to be convoluted, so stick with me on this. There's some lessons to learn here, and we have something to kind of sink our teeth into, right, about trade management. And I want to go through my process, my thinking in here. I hope it helps. And we'll go through it live too. We'll look at the live market, but I want to deal with this in here right now, and then we'll jump over. So I'll try to go through it quickly. Just let me know if you have any questions. Short here after seeing the selling coming in. This little move in here, I'm looking for some selling. I see some exhaustion here. I see some selling. I'm looking to ride it back down. Okay, I got in here. Stop. I have it on bracketed orders here, which at 10 and 20. Take profit 20, stop loss 10, ticks. Okay, so and then I adjust it from there. All right, so I have my stop loss and take profit in the market. That's the way I've been working with my brackets. All right, so because it's so easy to adjust them on the fly in Bookmap, just get in with a widened out stop loss and take profit, and then adjust it. Okay, just drag and drop it in the on the chart. All right, so anyway, what I did was, like, I thought, well, this has, all we have here, my trade criteria, I don't have a whole lot actually. I just have this big move here and this structure here. That's really the main part of this setup, or the criteria I have. I also have high liquidity here that got filled, and then I'm looking for something in here where I might get that a turnaround and then move lower. All right, so what did I have? I thought here I would at least get this kind of a knee-jerk reaction and pull back down to lower level. You can see that, yeah, we have a little bit of a shift here. Okay, and then I thought, well, all right, now I'm zoomed in, and I'm thinking, well, let's put another order in here, because now it's kind of confirmed it here. I see the sellers come in and move it away from this area up in here. So I'm looking for it to establish a trading zone below this area in here, okay, below 55 basically. All right, so I put another limit order in here on the sell side, and then I think, well, we'll probably get a pullback, to where this dropped from, because this is not a distribution pattern yet. We're just seeing it kind of initiate in here. So maybe this position here is way too early. All right, I have a tendency to do that. Carmine Rosado actually said the same thing. He'll get in, and that's his risk profile, on the way up toward his limit sells. He'll take it on the way up, and then he does not wait for that reversal. Okay, so I don't know if it's a good habit or bad habit, but I think it is better to wait for this pullback and then continuation. Right. So I put my limit sell in here. As you guys can see, I moved it up a tick, and then I thought, well, I'm probably not going to get filled here. I'm looking for the seller. I see some exhaustion in here. I see the sellers coming in here. I'm looking for the move lower. So I went in. I put, actually, I saw the some of the selling coming in here. That's when I put in a sell stop order. So now I have two positions in here. Now I'm adding quite a bit of risk at this point. Okay. Now if I am looking at this in terms of scaling into a position, though, then that's fine. Okay, that I know that I have like 3, maybe 4 contracts that I want to scale in or scale out as well, then that's fine. Okay, so now, I'm not getting too much out of it, though. It's just a 1.5 or a point, difference here. Okay, so I got filled here, and then immediately it goes against me up into what my original idea here. Okay, to retest back here. That happened. I got filled here. And then it starts to back and forth in here, and then we got the turnover. Okay, so this is the distribution pattern in here, right? And it was kind of an odd distribution pattern in here, and you can see all my actions in here as well. This is the beauty of the trading from the Bookmap chart, because I have to be accountable for all of this in here. What were my actions? What did I do in here? right? And we can dim the heat map a little bit here to show better. I was looking for this to be a distribution pattern. Didn't really quite get it, to be honest. Yeah, we see the sellers come in and it starts to go lower in here, but this is just not really convincing in here. I'm really looking for this kind of transition. Okay, we talk about this in the from the Learning Center. If you go to bookmap.com, I got to show it quickly, guys. Go to Education and go to Strategies and Setups, and then go to this new reversal pattern, head and shoulders pattern here. And then this is the distribution pattern we're talking about in here. Okay, it's right here. This is where we're looking for an order flow and volume shift right here, okay, of your inverse head and shoulders. I'm looking for it here. I don't really see it yet. And I'm thinking, oh boy, this actually is looking more like a flag pattern. Like here's our strong move, and this is just flagging. You know, it's just retesting lower areas in here, and it's just flagging. Then some strong buying coming back in here. Now, I moved up, as you guys can see, like this was my first take profit, and I moved it up here to reduce some risk. Okay, I'm not looking for much. I'm looking for a move here. And then actually I see more sellers come in here and a bit more in here. And I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to move it down then. You know, if this selling starting to, maybe I'm getting my shift now in my order flow, that transition that we're talking about, then I'm going to move my take profit down. Right. And then what did I see in here? I saw some exhaustion here, and I saw some buying coming in here, and I got out. I moved it up quickly, okay, back up to this position here, and took my partial profit. Okay, I'm out one leg of 3 at that point. I also, you guys can see, like I saw this liquidity come in, and I moved my stops down here. Okay, and then the continuation here to the downside, and then I still didn't see this distribution pattern in here. In fact, you know, I'm thinking, well, you know, all it did was retest back down to here, and where these buyers came in, and we might get another flag pattern in here, and then move to the upside. And this volume here is like, okay, something's off, is what I thought. We came back up, retested this area, but we're testing it on some more volume in here. So I got out another position here. I kept my stop loss. It was at break even +1, and then I saw the move to the downside again, and then down here, exhaustion. Okay, down here. Okay, this is a great area. We always look at these areas in here where those buyers came in and moved this. And then I'm thinking in here, this is what it's looking like to me at this point right here. Okay, some sellers, but some buyers. Buyers take this liquidity on. Okay, and then some sellers, exhaustion here. And I started to see some buyers come in again, and I'm gonna take my profit, and I'm out. So all I did was drag and drop it up to here, and I'm out of my position at 50, okay, or 51 there. And that was it. That was my trade management on it. Okay, now in hindsight, when I look at this in here, it basically is a flag pattern, or a flagging pattern in here this entire time. I'm looking for a distribution because of this move here, right? And I'm looking for buyers to shift over to sellers, and then sellers to take it down. And it didn't. In fact, this is flagging the whole way down. This is the distribution pattern, or this was the main, this parlays into what I wanted to talk about today, was looking for distribution patterns and accumulation patterns. This here is just a flagging pattern, really. Look at the bars here. Look at the dots in here. Okay, yeah, there's some selling dots, true. It moved down into these areas in here. But then look at the buyers come right back in. Okay, retest to the buyers came in again, and then you can see that it was not a distribution in here at all. Good morning, Caesar. And we see the buyers come back in and come back in more and move this market higher. Okay, so in essence, this is like a flagging pattern in here. And I was looking for it to retest back up here and then turn around and be a reversal pattern. We did not get that. Okay, now as you guys can see, with the trade management though in here, you can do this. You can still take some out of it here, and even though the read was wrong, all right. But good trade management, and I don't know how good it was, but you know, I did not get that reversal that I was looking for, that distribution that I was looking for, and that transition. However, with some of the trade management in here, we're able to at least, it was a counter trend move in here that we grabbed, and then that was it. Okay, then the continuation pattern to the upside comes right back down afterwards, and then we're right back up again here. All right, so sorry guys, that took a little longer than I thought, but you can, and we do see that retest back up into our 65 and above even the swing here at the 66 level. So any questions on this? We'll take a little bit of a pause here just to get to any questions that you have on this trade management. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we have a dome as well. Line drive. Thanks, Michael. Scalp examples would be helpful. Okay, well, we can do that. No problem. Yeah, regarding the dome, thanks, Alois. You went through the whole thing there. There's a playlist that we have on YouTube. Let me just click on that link and go to it. Yeah, actually, like this is great here, analyzing your statistics with Gary Norton. He's got a whole playlist in here that you should check out because just go to our YouTube channel, okay, and then go to playlists. And then, Gary is a complete expert on the dome. You see his Mastering the Dome playlist section here. He did a whole series within Bookmap here. And you can see them all here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It starts with Mastering the Dome, the origins of the dome, and goes through the whole history in here. It's really great. So I would highly recommend that you watch this as a dome trader, right? Okay, all right, now this is getting interesting up here. All right, this looks a little different to me now. We're starting to see a potential distribution pattern now. Okay, look at the move to the upside, and let's just zoom in here. Okay, so now the back and forth in here is what we want to understand. Okay, so here again is, we see buyers up and through here. This is a big stop run too. And then it kind of just consolidates, goes sideways. We start to see some exhaustion on the buy side and some selling. Exhaustion again, selling, and then selling again. Okay, now buyers just coming in now, but trading into high liquidity up here. All right. So is this the distribution pattern that we're looking for? Well, let's just kind of look at it here. Heavy selling, a lot of buying, not convincing yet. Criteria is not quite there yet. Okay, now it just traded into high liquidity. That's good. That's really good. Okay, we want to see that. And we know that the sellers here got filled and up in here as well. And they absorbed anything that the buyers could throw at them up here at this 65.5 at this point. Okay, maybe there's still more buying pressure. Okay, now we're going to zoom in here and take a look at this. All right, so let's go through an example in here. So we are seeing a little bit more buying pressure in here. All right, so there they come. All right, so now they, again, 65 and a quarter here, not 65 and a half, and couldn't get through. All right, so now a scenario is, do we see a lot of sellers in here? Not yet, not yet. Okay, we may, right? Now, if we do, this would be getting in beforehand, though, is you would set a sell stop here. Okay, and you're looking for first exhaustion here on the buy side, and we don't see it yet. Okay, don't see it, and we're looking for sellers down here. Okay, and then we're looking for our sellers to come in here. We just got filled, and we're looking for them to take it away from this area now. Okay, and trade back down into the swings here or lower liquidity. Okay, now we've got our stop loss and take profit. Okay, we're just going to look, we're going to be pretty aggressive in here and look for it just a few ticks down to here. Okay, because we're just looking for it to test down into this swing here. Okay, if it's not doing it, and we see these buyers come back in like we are, okay, we're gonna flatten it. Okay, I'm seeing buyers, I'm out. All right. So yeah, small would have been a small winner or a small loser in here, basically. But the process in here is what we're looking for. Now, did we have? This is again just for demo in here, and we are in sim here, but we're going through some trade management and some ideas of what we're looking for in terms of distribution. Now, did we have justification for putting this stop in here, this sell stop? Not really. Not really, because there's still more buyers up in here. We just had this high liquidity and some absorption up in here. We didn't have really enough in here for that transition that we're talking about. So we were assuming that it would happen, and then we'd get our follow through to the downside. Okay, so let's see if we might get it again here. All right, so now do we see our selling cluster in here? Do we see this transition taking place in here? No, we don't, not yet. All right, look at the bars, look at the dots, and look at the liquidity in here. Okay, so still not seeing it. Right, I'm still seeing buyers in here. Okay, so we're yeah, looking for these buyers, and maybe they've got enough now to finally take on this 65 and a half and through it. There they go. Okay. Okay, back up to the top of this range up in here. We see a bit of shift in the book here as well. So it's still looking good on the buy side. In fact, looking for a breakout here. Okay, but kind of missed it. So I'm just putting too much risk on for me. But we're looking for this to move up into 69 or 70 here. Okay, strong buying. All right, now another thing we can do here is we can look for pullbacks. Okay, so our pullback would be probably somewhere around here, right? Around this 66 or and a half or 3/4. Okay, now what we're looking for on a pullback is a low volume pullback, meaning less sellers in here. Okay, into this area here. Now let's see if the order book supports it in here. We see buyers in here. Okay, and then what we can do is, again, we can look for potential buy stop or just market buy. Okay, and then look for taking it back up to the top of the range in here. Okay, and I'm just missing that. They really don't have enough here in the order book as well, underneath. I'd love to see more. All right, so all we've done is come above this stop run and this swing up here. See if there's any questions. What do I think about keeping the stops and brackets laying in the book? Are you concerned about them getting whacked by a wick? Well, it depends. Like, yeah, I do get concerned about that. And if I start, let's suppose like, let's see that. Oh, you're welcome, Michael. I really appreciate that. Let's suppose that you know, we. I guess maybe we have to take a position again and demo this here for you. All right, well, here's our pullback. Here's our buyers. All right, so let's just try this here. All right, we'll go long right there. It's a horrible area, but we have a little bit here in the order book supporting it. Okay, now this would be an example here. All right, so now I got in here and I'm seeing a lot of sellers come in now. If I see sellers come in here at 66, then like I'm out, because like it may just come in here, you know, 65. There may be high liquidity. It may be absorbed in here, but see this in here. The transition, or not the transition, the transactions here are telling us something, especially down here at 66. Right, so that's where like it's like, okay, well, why would I take another point loss in here and put on that risk? If they're telling me up here, then I would just get out. Okay, my idea is that there should be exhaustion here. We should see a pretty strong order book here. We should see very little selling in here. We should see more buying up in here. Okay, if that's the criteria, and the criteria is how we're going to manage the trade as well. All right, does that make sense? So not only the criteria for getting into the setup, but for the management of it as well. Okay, and what kind of criteria do we have here? This is another thing to judge for yourself. This is like kind of at this point right now, is kind of like hopium. We don't really know, right? Here's some exhaustion. Maybe we get our buyers here. Okay, now we have something to kind of lean on here. So we are looking for the move up here, right? So now this is, I mean, this is something you probably like, you know, we're talking about scalping in here. But it really does apply to all time frames in here. I'm just going to move these up in here because I'm just looking for the move up to this 60, 69 or 70 level, and I'm willing to take my profit there. Okay, and if that is the case, it should work now. I'm putting my stop at break even, and I'm just looking for this move here. All right, so now we didn't have much in here, okay, before we got to that area there. All right, so you can see in here, this is what we had. We didn't even have much criteria for here, to getting involved in here, and then we see the selling go immediately against us, right? So then we see buyers come back up in here. Okay, that's something, but like look at the buying up in here, and then it's back. And then we just know it's back and forth in here. It's not a whole lot. We see sellers come back in here. So now what do we have in here? We have just this strong move here, which we also know is a stop run. We had our test down here. And this is where we're looking for the buyers to take it forward. Okay, we went back and forth a few more times before the buyers finally took it forward or upward. And then we didn't have much in here now. Okay, so let's just get this, because this actually helped us here. Okay, that exhaustion. We're going to take that out of the picture though. All right, and we're just looking at this back and forth in here. So the question is, in the trade management in here, do you really want to be in this? Right? Is it still, do you still see your criteria holding true? Right? And if you don't, well, then you can reduce some risk. Right? Because we're not really sure which way this might go. Now we did have a couple of things. We mentioned it. We had this 66 liquidity in here. That was good. And then we saw this exhaustion in here, and the buyers start to come in here. That's where it looked good. It's like, okay, we have something in here to keep us in the game. All right, so we're looking for that move up into here. All right, and then at that point, we're just looking for the move up into this swing up in here. All right, and then so we moved our stop to break even, and we kept our take profit one tick shy of this 67 and 3/4 liquidity up here. Right, so I hope this makes sense. This is I don't know. For me, this is kind of important, trade management wise, to understand, like, am I holding this just because I'm in the position, or is it, what is the chart telling me, and how can I be objective about that as we're going through the trade? Does that trade criteria is it still on our side? And if you don't know and you can't answer that, then this is like flipping a coin, right? So it's just luck at that point. All right, so you may consider exiting, or at least reducing the risk. All right, so just consider some of these things in here, because it's not just about the setup and the criteria for the trade and letting it work out. Okay, why do that when the chart is, something has changed here in the transactions, the structure, and the order flow, and it is now different, and it is telling you something. Okay, now I'm not saying, and this is really an important point in here, it's not that you want to get shaken out from every little wiggle in here, and every single oh, it's doing this, oh, it's doing that. No, it's based off your trade criteria. Is your trade criteria still strong, okay, for that setup? Right, and if it is, then you stay in it. Right, now our trade criteria for this idea in here is pretty weak. Right, if we got in like someplace like I don't know, like maybe it was a breakout trade in here, and then this would not shake us out. Right, this here would not shake us out. We'd still be in it, and then once we see this down in here, maybe we would think differently. We start to see this come in here, so stop at break even, take the stop. Right, you can always get back in, and here again is our that it is coming. We're seeing it come right back in again, these buyers. Okay, so anyway, go with your strong criteria in your setup and hold it until you see something in here that's telling you something different. All right, now what you can do along the way in here, now this is more advanced stuff, but you can reduce some of the risk, okay, with multiple positions. Right, now if you're all in and all out, then you're going to have to we can go through a scenario on that, but you're going to have to manage it differently. Right, so the management here, with multiple positions, we have a lot more flexibility. We could have taken some off up in here or up in here, front running it, whatever, and then stop, break even, or stop even at break even on the overall position, which our stop would have been down here someplace, and then we'd be fine. right? We'd still be in this, and the criteria for this is still in play, right? Here's where it broke out from, and then all of this action is still within here, right? It's just range bound, right? So anyway, now if you're all in, all out, you've got a little bit tougher question to ask yourself. Do you really think that this is going to continue on up to another level? And look at your higher time frames. Look at the liquidity. Look at the volume here as well, and then you would make your decision on that. Would you still be holding it? Would you still believe in this thing, this trade idea for it to work out, and have your stop down here? Or would you just put your stop at break even and get stopped out right now? Okay, so some considerations on one position. I've been advocating in here for those that are new, just take the high probability transaction. Okay, you're not looking for much. You're looking for that move up into the swing. Take your profit, get out, and then look for the next setup. Okay. Build confidence. It's not about it. Getting it, having the right idea and having it play out correctly will build the confidence. The higher time frame for it to work out is there's a lot more complexity around that. So it's something to consider. Just in and out and look for the next and build that confidence, and then you can start scaling later. Okay? Or maybe you get so good at your one setup and your management for that one setup and that trade management, you just want to keep it really simple, then do that. You can make a great living by just getting in, getting out, and taking your profit. You can just scale one position. Maybe you're taking 10 contracts, you know, maybe more, and you don't care about scaling. It's a waste of your time. Okay, you're just looking for those high probability setups. Anyway, see how it really gets complex when you start looking at the money management and the trade management. Oh, you're welcome, Teddy. Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, there's really we've been covering in these webinars for years, and this is a transition for us. Let me kind of lay it out a little bit better here. For years now, since Bookmap is kind of a unique piece of software in what it displays, for years now we have been covering how these markets actually work. Okay, what is behind these the market mechanics in here, and that is essential to understand, right? Because we can look at candlestick charts like we have for years and think about you know, what's happening up in here in terms of order flow, but we're just speculating. We don't know. You don't know on any of these bars in here where the buyers and sellers are transacting, how much. Maybe you have a footprint chart. That's good, but you don't have that context of liquidity in here, okay, at all. So you don't have all the pieces, right? So this is what we want to understand in the market mechanics in Bookmap, and that's what we've been covering for years. And because once we understand these markets, you will look at everything differently. Okay? You will then look at all of this in here totally differently. Instead of like indicators and candlestick patterns, you will know precisely what makes up this price action up in here. All right, and that's essential. And then you can trade whatever way you want to trade. Now we've gotten into, you know, order flow setups, but Actually, we had those many years ago as well, but we've got it now in the Learning Center with the strategies and setups, and we just have the initial ones in here, but continuation and reversal. We'll have a range bound soon as well, and build that out, and then we're going to build out the trade management now too, because that's a whole nother side of it in here. And so we have laid this foundation of market mechanics and how things work, and then into some of the taking a position, looking for criteria to base your trading decision, and then your trade management around that decision setup. All right. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's take a look at this here. Okay, this is a low volume pullback to here, right? So heavy volume on the sell side, and then look at the buying coming back in. Okay, now this might break, it might come back up above this here at 65, and break out to the upside. Okay, so but we can look at small positions in here as well. Okay, so look at the exhaustion here. All right, so then we're looking for, again, I'm going to do another sell stop. Okay, I'm looking for sellers in here. I see buyers here, equal high. Okay, here's some exhaustion. I see selling here. Okay, here's our criteria. Selling moved it. Buyers came back. Okay, and we're not seeing a whole lot of buyers though. Right, we see an equal high here. We don't see a lot of buyers though yet. Okay, now do we see a lot of sellers? We see some here, and we see some here. Here's some exhaustion. Okay, so we can even move this up now. Okay, and let's just get filled here. Okay, now we're filled, and what we're looking for now is we're looking for sellers immediately. Now if this doesn't happen immediately, then we're going to get out because we don't want to get caught in this. Okay, we're looking for this immediately to test back down to at least here. Okay, where these buyers came in. Okay, maybe we'll get continuation though down to some of these lows in here. Right, so that's what we're looking for. Now the scalp, or the we can look at a measured move in here. Okay, of this range. Now this is the scalp, right, and is basically hitting it right now. Okay, so what will we do? Well, then we would flatten it. Right, but you can see we're already getting a pullback here. So we're gonna stick with it. We see high liquidity here on the offer, and we're seeing some sellers here. Okay, so we're gonna move our stop down, and we're gonna take maybe a two tick or 3 tick stop loss, and it comes back immediately. All right, and hits us. All right, so anyway, yeah, we probably should have looked at our measured move and taken our partial profit here. Okay, but anyway, that was the idea, and went in our favor immediately, and then we managed it this way. Okay, for like a 3 tick loss there. Right, so basically kind of like a scratch trade here, and we can still look for this criteria though to work out. Now on this smaller time frame in here, it actually did what we wanted it to do. Okay, it traded back down to our first area here. We probably just should have had moved our stop up to there, all in, all out, as a quick scalp, right? And then see how we missed this here. We missed this move. Now we don't know if the buyers are going to come in hand over fist up here. Okay, at this point it's still a low volume pullback here. Now it's not. Now it's broken. Okay, but look at our risk management here. This has to work now. It did, and we moved our stop down because if we don't want to be the sellers here that become the buyers over here, so we're out. Okay, we gave it a shot. We should have managed it maybe a little bit better, and then we moved our stop down and we got stopped out here. Okay, so that was it. That was our management on it. Okay, and we didn't have this happen though to us. Right, we didn't have this move against us like this, and that is important. All right, let's continue on. Let me see if there's any more questions in here. And we keep on looking for these good opportunities. We're just not quite seeing much. See, how's our daily looking here? Okay, our daily is actually going positive here. Green candle. How's our hourly? How's this 15-minute in here? Oh, we're still seeing buying pressure up here. Okay, this is the selling that just came in and then moved. We moved right back up here. And not really seeing much. Michael, Teddy, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. One thing in here is, we're going through a lot of stuff in here, and we want to keep it really simple though. And I'm just trying to cover, trying to keep it simple too, but we're trying to cover as much as we can, like different ways of trading. Again, trade management here as a foundation, and different ways to consider this. Right, so once we put trade management into it, it really becomes a lot more complex, because these ideas that we were covering earlier are really in the previous webinars are pretty simple. Now we need to put the trade management around it though, and that's where it can become infinitely more complex. Right, so because there's so many different ways to do it and deal with it. All right, let's look at the criteria for this up in here. Is this turning into a reversal pattern up in here? Potentially shoulder, triple head, shoulder. Now let's look at the criteria in here. Okay, between this move up and this back and forth in here. Right. Okay, so what do we see? And guys, we just drew that up, but I'm going to cancel it all so we have a little more clarity in here. Okay, and I'm actually going to, let's see here. We'll take the trading off for just a moment, so our trade management's not seen as well. Okay, so we have more clarity in here. All right, so this is still an interesting shift for me right here. Now this is where we took a position in here, got upended, but it is still on. Look at the buyers up in here, can't make a higher high, and they made a little bit of a higher high here, but not up here, and we see some buying, and they can't reach it. They can't reach that area. Okay, so what are we looking for in here? All right, so potentially, let's see if we. This is the move that shifted the market away. This is the pullback, and then here's another move here. And let's take a look at the volume in here. So what the idea that we're looking for in here, in terms of the setup, is we're looking for a low volume pullback on the buy side. Okay, so we're looking for more sellers in here. And then a low volume pullback on the buy side, and we just might be missing it here again. So that's okay. In fact, let's just jump in. And again, I do not. This is not a trade recommendation. Okay, we're really missing it now. I just think we're going to have a nice little breakdown here. So okay, we missed it. Let's just look for a pullback then. Okay, so we'll put a limit sell up here. Okay, so to put a limit sell in Bookmap, just right click above the price, current price. Okay, you can and then left click, hold, and drag them around here to where you want. All right, now let's put a little market structure on this as well. Okay, here's our market structure. Not bad. That's a pretty decent area in here. I do not see sellers here. I don't like that. Okay, not a good sign. I want to see more sellers in here at the bottom of the range. And now we're probably going to get it. Okay, pretty nice buying coming back in. Again, guys, this is in sim, and is to go through an order flow setup in here, and then put some trade management around it. Okay, now depends on your time frame as well. We're going to go through some lower time frame stuff. Let's break 60, 60, 50s. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Stephen. Overnight high still hasn't been taken out. Okay, actually, we can even trade this up to to our limit order, but yeah, here they come from the buyers. All right, now this is kind of a question here. You know, are you still looking for this, and or is it you're going to wait for some order flow to tell you something different in here, right? Because look at the buying pressure come in here. All right, so let's just do this. Let's do two positions here. Okay, one will be our limit sell. Okay, here. And then we'll put another one in here, and we're going to see our stop is up here at the top of this other structural range here. We're going to move it above that. All right, and then we're going to move maybe this one up here to where these sellers came in up here. All right, so we're going to layer into this position here. All right, does that make sense? Is everyone with me? Okay, so this is a smaller time frame setup, and this is a larger time frame setup in here. Okay, so we're just looking for this this initial move here, based on the where we put our limit sell in here. Now we took it away because that buying pressure, we don't want to get run over, and if they're going to come back up and trade through this area in here, then likely you're going to trade back up to this area here, right? But then we saw the selling come back in. Okay, trade idea is still on. All right, let's take it. But then this will be half a position, and this will be our other position up here. Right, and now we're looking for our breakdown though. All right, now let's zoom out and let's take a look at where our breakdown might go. Okay, I like the swing down here, or this liquidity area right here. We've got a number of reasons in here. This is where it broke from earlier. This is where the buyers came in and really moved it into and through high liquidity here. And that's exactly where this swing took place here as well. Okay, so maybe we move our take profit up to there. Okay, now we're going to actively manage this based on criteria as well. Okay, trade management based on the criteria. Okay, so seeing our sellers come in. Okay, So this could be pretty good. Actually, let's move it back down. Let's move it back down to here. Okay, this is a good area here. I like this area here, and that is the high probability target. Is right here. Okay? And if that is your goal, then that's where you will leave your take profit here, right? And we're going to move it down to here, okay, a little bit in front, okay? Because what we're looking for here is what we wanted to kind of cover is distribution patterns. Okay, so reversal, you'd be looking for a distribution pattern here. So we're looking for a continuation then, and the move to the downside here. Okay. Now, do we see that in here? Kind of right in here at this this area here. It's not a whole lot of selling though. It's not really that convincing. So we need to see a lot of sellers come in now. Okay, you mean reversion traders? Maybe you'd be looking for the move down to the high volume node down here. Okay, we're seeing the buyers come in and mounting their attack again. Okay, so but this is where the sellers came in, and this is our structure that we're looking at here. So we put our limit sell order up in here. Okay, overnight, you got your overnight open at what, 57.75? Yeah. Oh, sure. We'll move it up one tick. Yeah. I mean, this looks this does look like a good little area in here if we can get that. Or the I'm sorry, the regular trading hours open. All right, now let's look at this. See this here? I'm going to move my limit up to the top of this range here now. Okay, because I'm seeing that buying pressure come in, pull back, and I'm looking again for buying pressure back up into this liquidity up here at 67. Okay, that's where my working order is. Okay, now I'm going to have, if I get filled here, I'm going to have 2 stops and 2 take profits, and I'll manage them at that point. Okay, the buying pressure is still coming in today, guys. Our transition, or our idea in here of a reversal pattern here, you know, this is not what we want to see actually. You know, we want to see the breakdown on heavy selling. Boy, I don't know. I mean, these webinars are with the one of the thing with the, it's great to go over the trade management. I really enjoy it, and I hope you guys get a lot out of it. It's really the art that comes along with your high probability setup, and really there's so much flexibility with your trade management. What you want to do, how you want to do it, and how you want to get consistent with it. We're going through a lot of ideas here, so you know, at the end of the day, what's going to matter in here is your, let me show you. It's going to be your journal. Okay, now let me show you this here. We've got a trading journal in Bookmap, and there's some errors in here, guys. So like, don't look at these numbers in here, please. This is, there's some weird things that happen in here. This is in testing still, but I want to show you this up here for the date. We're going to filter it. Okay, just click on the little calendar icon here, and then we'll go to today. Okay, so what do we have today? Well, here we have, like, now this is correct, right? So we had our biggest winner. You can see all my trades here. Here is our small loser here. Here's our break even. And then I guess did we just have a loss? No. Okay. No, we're still in this. This is our performance today. This is, look at our first trade that we went through. Now this was pre-market, before the webinar. And this was our maximum favorable and maximum adverse excursions. So not bad. Like, against us, only 3 ticks. For us, 19. All right, on that trade. And then our small loss in here for 3 ticks. One against us 1, or for us 1, and then against us 2. And then let's see, the other buy in here against us 4, and for us 5. And then I guess this is the another one in here, for us 5, and then against us 2. So we want to see this maximum adverse excursions a lot less than our favorables. Okay, that's what we're looking for. And don't worry so much about, like, you know, the profit. Look at our profit ratios in here. Now we don't have a lot of trades in here, okay, but 33%. That's it. Okay, that means every 2 times out of 3 I'm losing, or every 1 time out of 3 I'm winning. Okay, so but we're still in the green. Okay, because we're looking for something that is higher probability, and we're cutting our losses quickly, right? And that's what we want to do, right? So now we're down here at this level in here, and this is a question here, because we only have 1 position on. We moved our stop, actually, or our limit. We would have gotten filled here, right? If we left it in here. But seeing all this buying coming in, I lifted it and front ran this high liquidity up here, because we're still finding buyers in here. Okay, so that was the decision. In hindsight, well, it probably would have been great to have been filled, and we would have been filled in here because it went through it by a tick. Okay, but we didn't know that. We were seeing all this heavy buying coming in here, but we had our reasons here for this level here. But this is not a low volume pullback, so therefore we moved it away, right? Because we're looking for low volume pullback in here on the buy side. Look at the volume, look at the dots. This is not it, guys. So we're not looking for we're going to lift that limit order here. All right, now we're getting our stop run back down through our levels here, and then you have to make another decision in here. Okay, do you want to take your profit after the stop run here, or do you want to hold your liquidity in here and front run this high liquidity here at this 57.5? Okay, well, we'll get our answer here. Okay, so we're looking for sellers here. We're getting them. Okay, and now if I see a lot of buyers come in, though, I'll hit the flatten button and I'll be out. Okay, but I'm going to hold it here until I see something a little different here. Okay, buyers coming back in now. Now let's see if the sellers can drop it. They should be able to drop it. There we go. Okay, high liquidity at 60. Now let's see if buyers may take them on. And if they do, and they trade through this, then I'm looking to get out. Okay, for this position. Just for this position. This is how subjective that is. Or our decisions are objective in here. But for our particular setup or trade here, this is how we're managing it in here. Okay, this should work, right? We have high liquidity. Now we have, look at the buyers take them on. I'm out. Okay, now it might turn around and come back down, but now I have some reasons why I'm out. Okay, this high liquidity here, originally we found sellers, now we found buyers. They took them on and they traded into and through that high liquidity here. Now it might turn around. I mean, the seller's still dominating here. But for the sake of this webinar as well, we're going to get out of this because our time is up. We're not looking for well, we still don't know actually if these sellers are going to hold or not. Okay, we need to look at the order flow again in here. It actually still looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe we should have held it. But we had our reasons at least. We had high liquidity. We had our buyers. We had a nice little profit. We took it. Okay, and that was our decision. Right, and we're out. All right, makes sense. The journal is not publicly available yet, but it is, yeah, ask Dan on this, and I think the beta is actually closed off. You can see it's great though. Like it immediately updates really pretty quickly here. Now you can see our total win for the day, total losses, our biggest win for the day, our biggest loss for the day, our profit ratio. Since we don't have many trades in here now, we're at 50%. Yeah, not bad. This is the minimum viable product we have right now, and it's giving us pretty good information. We filtered by the date here to go over today. Now, if you guys are interested in this or you have access to this, there's something else you need to set up as well, and that is the trading statistics. It has to be open. Okay, so you'll need to go here to your configure add-ons, and that's why it's green right now, because I have my trading statistics here is open. Okay, and you need to have it, a special version of it here as well. Okay, so see this one, this version here, 1.9.9. You have to have this version. It is not the version you can get right now. You have to request it, then you'll see this little box in here. Let's just not give feedback for now. Please give us your feedback though. The little box in here, send trade data to the trading journal, and open the web journal here. Right, so you'll check that box, you'll open it here, and then this is what's going to pop up here. It is your trading journal. It is web based, right? So anyway, play around with it. The trading statistics itself is excellent as well, which you guys can export that to Excel. So you'll see that what happens is it opens up a separate window here in your trading statistics. And then here you'll get your trade information, etc., everything that we just had covered. It's giving you basically the same information, and then you can export this to Excel. Okay, so there's a few different ways to do it. I think you can copy and paste it in here, but it's also creating and now don't close this. You have to keep this open if you want the trade journal to work. This little add-on of trading statistics for each individual instrument has to be open. Okay, so if I close it here, I just minimized it, but you can see I also have the NQ here, and I haven't taken any positions in the NQ, but I have it open. And if I do here, let's just take one. If I do take a position in here, okay, oh, beautiful move in NASDAQ. All right, so let's see if we can just kind of scalp it to the upside here a little bit, right? Oh yeah, the break even too. We have our break even indicator here as well. So let's see it. No, we're not going to get it. No, we might get it. We might get it. Might get it. No, we're not going to get it. And we're stopped out. Okay, so anyway, and that now this will be reflected in here now. Because I have it open. All right, so now let's go back to trading. So I have this open here, and it shows my trade result. All right, now here it also shows it in my trading journal, web-based trading journal. Here's our NQ position right here. Okay, for negative 150. That really screwed us up here, right? Just to do that quickly in demo. Anyway, guys, it's only demo, but and it's not to be worried about. Anyway, that's the way it works. You got to keep these windows open in trade statistics, and then now we're getting our move, right? Looks pretty good here. Let's see if we can get it further back up to here. This is a total knee-jerk reaction here, guys. Again, so we bounce off of this little area here. And come on buyers. Okay, we're looking to ride this momentum back up to where it sold from is what we're doing here. Let's see if we can get it. Anyway, NASDAQ's a whole different beast and animal here. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's see how's that ES doing here. Okay, ES is still down. It's getting a bit of a pullback here as well, kind of like the NASDAQ, but anyway, down to your high volume node. So you volume profile guys like would have traded this mean reversion trade. This would have been your reversal pattern in here, back down to the high volume node. Okay, not bad. One more thing, I guess, before we go, then, is this kind of reversal pattern in here. Not really the greatest. We did have some criteria for it, but not really the greatest. It ended up playing out for us, but that's in hindsight, right? This is what we're looking at in here for our criteria in our trade idea. It was the selling in here, and these buyers could not make a higher high in here. And then we started to see some of that selling coming in, and then we looked for it in here in our structure, our liquidity, and our transactions. Okay, and then we actively managed it based on the criteria as well. Okay, so yeah, I hope that was helpful for you guys. Let's see, how did our trade here work out? Okay, so yeah, it traded back up to the top of the where it broke from here in the NASDAQ. Not a good trade idea. Just going through the demo. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll go over more of this tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions. Gather them together. Yeah, exactly. Slow down. The reversal picture wasn't perfect, but the liquidity pressing and holding the ask is helpful. Absolutely. Thank you, Slow Down. I really appreciate it. I just can't get it out of my mind what Stephen had said during the crypto competition about criteria and why he didn't take a trade, because the criteria wasn't there. I was looking for it, but I didn't have the criteria, and he didn't get involved because of that. That's fantastic. So let's look at this example here. Did we have the criteria? It's pretty skittish here. It's not really there. All right, I got to make this point because we took some positions in here and we went through trade management based on criteria as well. But the overall setup is not that great. So, make sure you're taking a high probability with a criteria-based decision making. And that's your setup. Okay, make sure you have your criteria. If you got your criteria, you've got half the job done. Okay, now the next half of it is about your trade management, right? And we're going through this in detail in here, and we're all over the place. We're talking about all sorts of different ways of managing this trade as well. But again, it is based on the criteria that we're seeing in the order flow, and it depends on your time frame as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Yep, take care.